And now for our final rebrand session, but not quoting, not another bloody rebrand. Please welcome from NBCUniversal, Mr. Marco Giusti.
Hello. Just get a bit more comfortable. Thank you. So, not another bloody rebrand. We've had 3 great rebrands, and you've seen some other great rebrands, so I thought we'd try and entice you here with this. Actually, it is. But it is with a bit of a difference. This is about Studio Universal. It's our movie channel. And rather than just take you through, which is obviously fantastic work that Redby did with us, we are going to take you through it with a bit of a twist. Just to give you a set it up, though, this is not a single territory brand. Actually, Italy, Latin America, we do split Brazil out because they speak a different language, and South Africa. Some of the parties at play here. The way we're doing this presentation today is wear weird t-shirts with client written on it. But we're splitting up with client and agency. And for that, I'm afraid I've got to call Charlie from the agency. Come on. Yeah. And just in case you hadn't figured out who's the client and who's the agency, we're wearing t-shirts.
Channeling Run DMC here.
Yeah.
Makes me Jam Master C.
Because a bit of theatre goes a long way when you've got a presentation like this, we thought we'd step it up a bit, and no, we're not going to do any breakdancing until after lunch and a few drinks. My mother called me Marco. I believe your mother called you Charlie, which is fantastic. So we want to start with something that often is referred to is, what's the winning pitch? And a lot of people here have talked about the rebrand. I want to talk a bit about the pitch. From a client perspective, I thought it would be quite useful. Do I look good in the hat? Yeah, thanks. So why? From my perspective, and I'll speak client and agency in this case, and believe me, Charlie will be doing some speaking on this. First and foremost, we felt Redby listened. I mean, it sounds really trite, but actually that helps an awful lot. And I think from Charlie's perspective, when we talked about it is, hope they can see we've listened. They had a great strategy, and that helps an awful lot. Pretty pictures go a long way, but I can't sell those in up there. They've all spent ages figuring out our strategy. They nailed the creative. Not every pitch comes out with nailed creative. Sometimes the strategy is great and the creative is less good. In this case, it was brilliant. And chemistry. We actually had chemistry from the past. We knew each other. That didn't hurt. And in this case, I'm sure they were thinking, at least give them a toe in, which it did. So what did the actual pitch look like? And for this, I'm going to pass to Charlie, who can give you actually the inside track on what it was all about.
So this is obviously a dramatically condensed version. And we'd started off with an observation of what was happening in the territories that another film channel was going to be in. And there were 2 things that we observed. The first of which was that film channel logos usually drew on one of 2 things. Either the kind of the iconography of the old film studios, and they're very heraldic and grand, or from the marquees above the cinemas themselves. And we felt there must be another territory that hadn't been explored. And the second observation, though, was that, again, in the territories, movie channel design for the on-screen presentation packages was virtually indistinguishable from general entertainment channels. And we thought if we're about a celebration of this one particular genre, again, maybe there's something new to mine. How do we challenge the conventions that have been established? Why follow our competition in looking at what could be construed in a Netflix era as sort of dated institutional symbols? And also, why behave like a general entertainment channel when inherently we're all about film? So the inspirational moment, and I should say all the credit for this work is actually Jane Fielder, our wonderful head of design, was to look at and to mine something new. And we looked for our inspiration at the world of film posters, and they declare a love of film with a really distinct and unique visual language, and we spent an awful long time. In fact, we had an intern locked in a room for a week till he went mad looking at the kerning of the fonts on movie posters. And, what are the lessons that we can draw from that to bring into a new and vibrant channel brand? And my one tip to any agencies here is do your research on the client, because you always find these little killer moments for a pitch, which was the first movie poster that actually established what has become a kind of universal, no pun intended, universal structure, was done by Universal in 1919 for Blind Husbands. So from that, everything flowed. So it gave us a structure for establishing a new logo that moved from kind of marquee to the typography of film posters. And it also gave us a way of doing promo end boards that were lined up and central and letterboxed, and gave, in every beat of the channel, the feeling of a love of cinema. And within days, we'd already got animations for an OSP that ended up being remarkably similar to what went on air. Again, giving an opportunity to introduce little touches like film star reviews and the cast themselves into promo end boards. So from that point of taking inspiration, we showed we were passionate about film in the pitch by doing our in-depth research into the world of a new visual language that celebrates films. It started with Universal. Let's own it again. So far so good.
Yep, so far so good. They won the pitch, we're good. OSP and logo practically done, we're thinking fantastic. We do want idents, haven't seen them yet, how hard can that be? Must be a piece of cake. I think Charlie at this point was thinking, they got it. Slightly worried about something here. What was that? Anyway, and you kind of get the theme. We're going to reveal a little bit of behind the scenes of what went on. So let's make it happen. That's when you get really excited and you're kind of in bed together thinking, this is great sex. Sorry, Charlie. And at this point...
You said, do I look good in a hat? I said, yes. It's very important that you always say yes.
Generally. Yeah. At this point, you've got two protagonists, and actually we've got a few. Jane was there as well. However, you'll soon find out that actually what we end up with is quite a lot of stakeholders. You might recognize this, especially in multi-territory rebrands. It's not just me, there's a load of other people. And the agency's not immune to that either. They got a few less, but they still got a few. So what happens with that, we end up with meetings. This is a kind of a regular thing, and the more territories you have, kind of the bigger the meetings can be. About one a week, about 20 people, about 3 territories, probably 4, and everyone has an opinion. This is not unusual. It happens even if you just do Channel 4 rebrands. But when you start multiplying territories, you end up about color, layout, font size, animation, idents, etc., etc. You get the drift. And managing that is an interesting thing that we have to do. Here's the downside. If you don't do the meetings, they don't own it. So you don't want to own it yourself. You've got to bring everything with you on the journey. There is no way around it. Suck it up. You just got to do it. Take colors, for instance. This is one of my favorites, just because how difficult can color be? You've seen a lot of this already, and you start noticing there's a raft of colors. And we started off already with a kind of, well, let's give them a load. And that wasn't enough, so let's give them some more. And we rationalized this in the following way. We need more options. One more color won't hurt. And we're going to call it a carefully considered design decision. I think Charlie, it's fair to say, didn't agree, but also felt one more color won't hurt, and they're also going to call it a carefully. So we're aligned. Client, agency. We're deluding ourselves into this wonderful thing. And we'll take the OSP. And this is an easy one, because at the pitch, you'll notice they got that nailed. We were really happy with this. And we thought, yeah, it needs to be perfect. And Charlie's like, yeah, it needs to be perfect. And Jane, it needs to be perfect. Yeah, and what about this bit? And we'll do a few frames here and there. And so far, it's all good. And no one says, what the fuck, stop. Really, nobody. We're all going along this. Yeah, and I'm going to make it even better. Yeah, we're all going to, the client's going with it, agency's going with it. And yeah, and we spent more time and money noodling the OSP than we should have. And no one's going to tell you that, because that's what happens. Agencies charge you, and you need to pay, and we have a certain amount of budget, and we're all in this together, kind of going down this road. And this will come back to bite us a bit later. More will be revealed. But we're okay. We got sexy idents to do. We still believe in idents, by the way. And we thought, we're Universal Channel. we're a film studio. We've got a film lot, this film channel. Yesterday rolled into one, so we're going to film it on the lot. That's fantastic. And even better, our statement is, we are movies. Perfect. So, idents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, took us a couple of rounds.
About 20 rounds to get the idents sold in.
A few. Wasn't that many, though.
But here's the 3 that you finally, eventually, at last picked. So I thought I'd share you a bit of the work in progress. So the first one was called A Day in the Life, and it was about those moments when the director's call cut on movies that are being shot next to each other, and the cast...
Yeah, too much about behind the scenes, thanks. Too expensive. No.
Okay.
Yeah, next.
So then we had another great one, which was about this seamless track along one movie set, and you could see all of the...
Kill it. Too complicated. Don't get it at all. No one's going to understand this, not even my boss.
Okay, at last, every single 21 in each territory probably did agree on a very simple route called lights, camera, action. And the pitch for this is that only a movie maker understands what it really takes to create the perfect scene. Those final seconds of preparation. It's a kind of cliche lights, camera, action, but actually if you think about what that moment entails, it's when every single detail of all of the craft of a movie maker is brought to bear on the first frame of a movie. And what was interesting is that's exactly when these idents get played, right before the opening shot of a movie. Can we own that for Studio Universal? And then we had another interesting build on it. We thought if we go and shoot these 3 different master shots, right from the pitch, we'd also talked about the importance of music in film. And we were inspired by, I'm sure you've all seen that wonderful mashup of The Shining, where they just changed the music and fundamentally turned it into a rom-com. And we thought, what if you took the same scene and just changed the music? You could dramatically shift the mood of the audience, and that would be another way of showing the craft. So 3 different master shots, 2 distinct music scores would give us the 6 idents that were requested. And we started just playing around with really simple balance of how much behind the scenes we show versus the opening shot, and did simple animatics, and thought that was great.
Yeah, it was all right. We were quite happy with that. We thought, yeah, but we want more. We want more master shots. We want them to be visually distinctive. We don't just want audio to change. Our finance said you don't have that much money. Anyway. And Charlie and Jane were like going, yeah, we'd love to do them as well. And their executive producer said, remember, we already spent time noodling the OSP. We need extra production budget. I think some people might relate to this as a kind of thing. However, creativity is nothing but good when you overcome these negative aspects. And we started making something about this and said, why can we not make this positive from the negative? We need to rethink this slightly. So, went back to the creative concepts to make them even better. I would say that. Smart use of the sets, wardrobe and props. Yes, we can do this. 2 idents per setup. We can also do this. We can do this in 3 days, not 4. A bit more money, we can find this. And we actually end up with 8 idents. Yay, everyone's happy. We can sell that in. And that is where creativity can actually be really enhanced, sometimes by adversity.
So we went and shot them on the Universal lot, and actually this is my other top tip, which is about recceing and not relying on Google Street View, because fortunately, due to Promax being in LA, Rafi from NBC, who I'm sure is here, and I went along to the Universal lot to look at the fantastic locations that we'd picked out online, to find that actually, you know, this is the magic of film, isn't it? Most of them were slightly smaller than the size of this stage. So every single frame that you see, basically, if you shifted an inch either side of what Jane captured in the camera, you would be breaking the magic of movie making. So a few shots from those very, very small studio locations. All went well, shoot went well, came back, edited them, everyone happy, everyone thrilled. What could go wrong?
Oh, just one more thing. The phone call. Yep, the phone call. So I kind of want, this is an interesting one. So the phone call is one, I call it, make sure it's a phone call, not an email. This is where you're going to be calling in sort of, hey Charlie, I've known you a long time. I've got something to say. What it is, I've watched the idents. I think they're fantastic. We need to rethink the audio. And it doesn't quite work, because at the time, what we had done, and what we signed off on as well, in terms of concept, we had the music that started from frame 1 to end frame. And what we thought was, actually, you're not getting any of the sense of the behind the scenes. You're getting no ambient. It goes straight into the shot. And what's worse is, this is a client trying to be creative. This is a creative client, Charlie. Interesting enough, Charlie agreed. And that phone call is a lot easier. But it doesn't end there, because you think that's all fine, but you're agreeing, so what's the problem? Oh, by the way, where's my beautiful brown Bible?
We've burnt all the team's hours. How about we just do a PDF-style guide at the end of the project?
This is true. This is true. You're
These
not going to hear this.
Yeah, these are the conversations that you haven't heard in any of the other rebrands, but we thought maybe we'd just, own
It's
up
not
to what
another
really
bloody
happens.
rebrand, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing something a bit different. So look, the compromise. This is a pretty traditional thing, and this is compromise is what actually most rebrands end up being. The fact that the rebrands look as good as they are is almost a miracle. Truthfully, you end up compromising so many things. So we end up finishing the style guide in-house. We'll cover the ident audio changes. That's fantastic. And here are two of the idents for you to see as they actually were finished, with all the audio changes, with all the stuff, and we'll show you these back to back. And the diametric opposite of that, when we talked about the two setups and the different audio, is this. So actually, that gave us the yin and the yang, almost like the black and white, the light and the dark throughout this, and it gave us the 8 idents we wanted. It also really brought to life, we felt, the magic of cinema, how you change scenes through the use of just changing the way it's lit, graded, audio, complete transforms it, and fundamentally on the same setup. So what really counts, inevitably, is the end result. No one really cares about that journey. No one gives a toss how much praying you went through and how many arguments you've had. So just to finish off pretty much, I'm just going to show you a 2-minute reel of what the whole thing looked like and give you a bit of a sense of the entirety of this. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Just along for the ride now.
Run, boy, run. This world is not meant for you. Run, boy, run. They're trying to catch you. Run, boy, run. Running is a victory. Run, boy, run. Beauty lies behind the hills.
Oh, you got to have faith, player.
Always another day, hey. But you don't have to hide away, yeah. You'll be a my boy.
Must go faster.
You go!
This is incredible.
It is going to be so awesome.
What problems?
Yeah, what problems?
Until next time, thank you very much.